Hello everyone. This is going to be my first reaction video of the channel. I bumped into this new trailer for this new show titled House of David. It'll be released by Prime Video on February 27th, and it's done by this production company called Wonder Project. Now, this whole show idea was mentioned in the George Janko show. I believe it's the last episode of last year's run that had Zachary Levi as their guest, and they briefly mentioned that in the beginning.
But John of Kingdom Story, he went and started a new shingle over with Amazon called the Wonder Project, and they are making the David series right now.
And it sparked my interest. It's a show talking about a Bible story, and it's going to be dramatized, of course. But the most important thing, it's a series instead of a film. That way, that gives them more time to either tell the story exactly as it is in the Bible, and maybe add some details if they want to. But I'm just blabbering what are the possibilities. But I'm excited for it. The primary thing I'm excited for is that it's in English. The other shows I will be doing on the channel, those shows that I have already watched, have been in Portuguese and have been translated into Spanish, but not into English, unfortunately. And I've found out that it's better watching it in Portuguese, in the natural language, even though I watched it in Spanish. That's my personal opinion, but regardless of that, let's jump into the trailer. Let me tell you my thoughts. And yeah, let's take a look. Here we go, Wonder Project.
Can one stone change the course of history?
So before we continue, I'm going to say this right away, that way I'm not stopping and going back a bunch of times. This is the one thing I connected right away when I saw this. It's the stone he chooses. Their color, specifically. This is like a small Easter egg to another documentary that was released in 2013 titled 5 Stone Secrets, a documentary explaining the significance of why David chose 5 stones, and also making a parallel connection to the statue in Nebuchadnezzar's dream and the rock that destroys that statue. It makes a connection with that. That, ironically, is David destroys Goliath throwing a stone on his forehead, on top of the head, while the other one in Daniel, in Nebuchadnezzar's dream, it's aimed at its feet. You would need to watch the documentary for the full explanation. I might do an explanation of the documentary, although it stands by itself pretty well. It's a great watch, I recommend. But yeah, I think this is a small Easter egg. I can just consider that a small Easter egg. Good thing it's a smooth stone. Because in the Bible verse it does mention he goes to the lake and chooses 5 smooth stones. So we're at a great start.
Change the course of history.
Cowards! Send me your champion!
Goliath!
Can one act of defiance create the legend? I will tell you the story of David, a simple shepherd boy.
Why do my brothers get to fight? And I'm stuck here.
David, you are not a...
Okay, let's... Because sometimes whatever appears in the trailer in some films doesn't appear in the final product. But I feel like this will appear in the final product. David's eagerness to fight. From this standpoint, it makes me understand that either he really wants to go to war because his brothers are doing it, so maybe he's just motivated because of that. But in the Bible, I'm gonna be someone who's very annoying, but I have to inform you that this is not how it went down. David, yes. There was another thing there. Why am I always? What were the words he said? Well, why am I always here? that sounds like a kid who's not satisfied with where he is. The Bible David was someone who liked the peaceful life. He would stay with the sheep. He was a shepherd boy. And it wasn't just because he was forced to, he liked it. And the other primary thing, he was obedient. He was different from his brothers. So that difference is what made him stand out. And I think that's something that should be kept in the show, that essence. And plus, him wanting to go to war wasn't because of just motivation that he wanted to be in the battlefield. It says that when he was obeying his father Jesse and sending bread and rations to his brothers, he overheard why there was no champion to fight Goliath, and just heard Goliath blaspheming about God and about his people. That's what motivated him. He wanted to shut the mouth of that giant. And so that's something that should be focused on, that he was motivated because someone else was degrading his religion, his people, and his savior. Like that's why. And that's the only why. I mean, I'm getting kind of out of track for this one, but when I heard that, it was kind of misleading. I'm not gonna say this is a red flag. I want to see how they play it out. Sometimes shows take their creative liberties and make a little spin to it, and it's actually a great for the story. So we'll see. Maybe we'll have to see.
Man of blood.
An outcast who became one of the most famous kings who ever lived.
God does not see what man sees.
He sees into the heart. And you have the heart of a lion.
I'm gonna say that's when he kills the lion.
The Philistines have assembled.
I saw the print of a hand, larger than a weaver's basket.
They have a giant. What?
My king, I will fight the giant. Fight him with the same spirit you bring into this room.
You play music for my father. Now he chooses you as champion. How will you do this?
It's not about the greatness of the giant.
Angel?
It is about the greatness of God.
Are you afraid?
Terrified.
I believe in you.
So, as the fate of a people hangs in the balance, again I ask this question. Can one stone change the course of history?
I can answer that. Yes. Or maybe. Nah, I won't go there. Whew. Okay, that was House of David. It says right there, February 27th. Initially, there was one shot I didn't stop at. It was when Saul was crying over Jonathan. That was the other interesting question I always had. The Brazilian show is on their 13th season, I believe. Translated, I think they're in around the 9. Well, that's other news. They went through all the books that talked about the kings, and this one's starting with David, so it's starting not in the middle but way before the beginning of the kings, because Saul is going to be the first king, or it was the first king, sorry. And that David was the most known. I feel that since it's titled House of David, they're going to continue it with Solomon, then Rehoboam, and then so on and so forth. Now, the other question is, where should they end this show? I mean, I feel maybe till the downfall of the kings from both Israel and Judea. If you didn't know that, they get separated later on into 2 regions, and they both have kings, and eventually both areas get dethroned. Maybe until then, although it would stop being relevant to the title, House of David. I mean, that's me thinking out of the top of my head. I really want this show to succeed, especially because it's in English. It's going to be relevant to a wide audience that don't speak either Portuguese or Spanish. Even though in my channel I'll be not translating it, but just sort of put it this way, like interpreting what they're saying. And I have these videos ready, and they'll be uploaded soon. Maybe not daily, that'll be crazy, but maybe sprinkled there, maybe twice or 3 times a week, something like that. But yeah, I'm excited to add another show to my channel that I will be looking at. Of course, this will be released in a couple weeks, and I will have my thoughts about it. I will talk about it, but I also talk about the other shows. There's going to be lots for you guys to watch, and I just hope that you learn something like I'm learning, especially out of this new show and the other shows that I keep investigating. So that's all for today. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.